my name is Smallidge. I'm the archivist for Converse.
Hi, to be honest, today is the first time I've heard the word archivist in English, which sounds very cool.
Yeah.
Could you tell us a little bit about what you actually do for this job for Converse?
So for this job, it's unlike a lot of archives jobs which deal with a lot of paper. I deal exclusively almost with footwear, fashion objects, apparel, that kind of stuff. I work with every department within the company, from facilities all the way up to senior leadership. I do media presentations like this. I also work with the design team when they redesign a shoe like the One Star to make sure they get all the details right and are historically accurate.
So what makes you make the decision to take the job in 2010, right?
Yeah.
You were a librarian or what kind of museum?
I worked at a library museum. I just finished graduate school, so I have 2 degrees, one in archives management and the other in history. And so I saw the job, and Converse actually reached out to me about joining. And I had no idea, really, coming from a traditional archive background with paper, manuscripts, that kind of stuff, that a company like Converse would even be looking for an archivist. So I was really thrilled when they offered me the opportunity to join the team. And I've been doing it ever since.
Alright, so could you tell us about how big is the archive? How many shoes?
How many shoes? We have about a little over 5,000 objects photographed in catalog right now. It ranges everything from basketball yearbooks that go back to the 1920s, print materials, advertisements, catalogs, and then we have about probably another 10,000 items that are uncatalogued but are just hanging out in the archive. So it's a really amazing collection.
Do you have to remember each one of the pair of the shoes over there?
Luckily we have a database that gives us a pretty good idea of what everything's called. We also have product catalogs that go all the way back to 1910 is our earliest product catalog, so those are a tremendous resource when someone, you'll find a shoe from the 90s that you're not quite sure what it is. So it's a great resource in terms of figuring stuff out, but I have a pretty good memory for remembering stuff, so I'm very lucky.
So is everyone can go in there? Is it available for everyone?
Unfortunately, it's closed to the public. It's really internal only. You can make media requests, work through our public relations team, but yeah, we're pretty much closed to the public.
Okay. And could you tell us about, is there a favorite Converse in the archive that your favorite?
My favorite shoe? I really don't have one because I've seen everything, so it's really hard to pick. Usually the shoe that I'm most excited about is the shoe that we just got into the archive kind of thing. I'll buy a new shoe that we didn't have in the collection, or find a new shoe that we didn't have in the collection, and that kind of temporarily becomes my favorite shoe, so it changes.
I have searched old Converse shoes on eBay. They're quite expensive.
No, yeah.
What's the most expensive one that you bought?
Actually, so this one, not the most expensive, but it was I think around $1,500 US. So yeah, this is a very recent acquisition too. The thing that makes me most excited about this shoe is that in 1974 and 75, the color suede all-stars, the suede and pinstripe match. And so that's just a little detail that I love about it. And we actually we had various leather all-stars, but not one where the suede matched the pinstripe until very recently, and now we have a couple of them, so very exciting.
Yeah, and for me, I think it's amazing that you guys can keep the shoes so fresh as it is right now. So is there a special way to keep the shoes in the storage?
We keep them in boxes. We keep the temperature at around 67 degrees Fahrenheit, about 50% relative humidity, and that's a pretty fail-safe way to keep the rubber nice and soft and pliable. But it won't, unfortunately, if a shoe's already dried out and damaged when it comes in, there's not a lot you can do to kind of revitalize it. You just kind of treat it and handle it very carefully. But luckily these are all in pristine shape, so.
Will you buy the shoes? Is there any interesting story happened?
Not, you know, it's all kind of transactional. One of my favorites is we bought on eBay recently. I bought a pair of, they look like this, but they're green suede, and they're a size 17, so really big. And so I wrote the person, and they were selling like a green suede and a gold suede. And so I asked them, like, why are these shoes so big? Like, where did you find them? And the person wrote me back and was like, oh, I worked at a clown school in Colorado. I'm from the Denver Clown School or something like that. And they basically had, there was a small woman, but she bought like the big shoes to wear as clown shoes. So that's kind of special, so.
Could you tell us a little bit about these two pairs of shoes you bought? Why do you choose these two pairs?
I mean, to me, these are like the foundation of the One Star. So the Smooth Leather All-Star here is really the first version that came out in 1970. So really the Star logo, which was a big deal for us, and really the next kind of evolution beyond canvas shoes for us. Yeah, so that just kind of inherently is like a new model was very special. And then again, this one just because of the detailing on it, the kind of craftsmanship, you know, just everything about it, this shoe is very special to us in our collection, so.
I noticed that the back label of the shoe has changed. At one point it was just saying One Star, but right now it become like the original one.
Yeah, it's a little closer.
You said you work with the designing team. Do you have anything to do about it? Because it's kind of historical based.
Yeah, I mean that, like, I can only give them the information. Those kinds of decisions, sadly and thankfully, they don't leave up to me to make those kinds of branding decisions. I've written though like histories on like, you know, small documents, presentations on like just the license plate and how it evolved and changed over time. You know, and I give those to people and then they make the decisions based on the information. So, but I mean, in my opinion, as close as it gets to the original, I'm all about that. So.
So what do you usually wear in your days?
I do like, so this is my second or third time wearing these new One Stars, and they're definitely super comfy. But my day-to-day Converse shoe is a Chuck 70, black with black laces, and it goes pretty much with anything you can want to wear. So.
Our last question: what do you think of Converse as a brand right now, before and after you went there? Like, I've heard a story about you learned how to read in the Converse free library.
Oh yeah, I mean, where I grew up, I'm from the same town as Marquise Converse, the founder of Converse, so I have a very like weird personal relationship with the brand, but like I have like very few memories of actually wearing the shoes in my childhood, but it's like this weird, I grew up in the same town as him, which is like a small town of like 1,200 people, so very small. But the one famous guy from our town was Marquise Converse. And I remember like a 5th grade history presentation, they showed the first guy to own a car in all of Lyme, New Hampshire. And it was a picture of Marquise Converse coming back from Boston for the summer up there. So yeah, it's a very weird small town connection, but yeah.
You always liked Converse as a brand?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely like it. It was always like kind of there, always like, you know, whether it was footwear choice, that kind of stuff. It's great to work for such a iconic brand with 100 years of history, because not every business has the like depth of history that Converse has. So it's really cool as an archivist and historian to get to work with such an old and iconic brand.
Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us.